right. And we are back. Episode 57 of the Burg Boys here. What is it? Late June? Not quite late June. It's the 20th, I guess. We'll get right to everybody's kind of weekends here. Got a big guest today, which we're excited about. We've been trying to get her on actually for the past few episodes and kind of the way that we do things. And I think Corrine's figured that out by now is we decide the weekend of that we're going to do a recording, and we ask if she's available, and she's got some family stuff, or we, it's just sporadic when we do it, and I'm sure most of our viewers know that by now as well. So let's go to Raj here, and then we'll go to the Lennon brothers, how their weekends were going, how the past week went, and kind of anything that's up and coming that you're excited for, I guess.
Yeah, the last 2 weeks or so of just kind of in the swing of summer things. My summer schedule's crazy, but also, it's fun. We got Monday through Thursday, since we're on limited contact out here for football, so we can see our football players as much as we want. It's all about trying to find balance. So what we do is our varsity and JV lift from 7 to 8:15 in the morning. At the same time, our freshmen are out on the field doing on-field stuff. 8:15 we switch, and then we're done by 9:30. So I get the kids out of there. They can go do other sports, get a job, do whatever they need to do. And we only go Monday through Thursday, so that way they get Friday off. We have 4th of July off. We have the last week of July off. So try to make it beneficial for the families too, where they can do things. But so I got that. But then on top of that, just to make a little extra summer money and continue to build up our youth program. I do a middle school speed camp after football. I do a middle school weightlifting camp after football on Mondays and Wednesdays. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we do a football skills camp after football. And then I run the lifting for our volleyball and softball team at Chatfield. So I'm pretty busy, but it's all good stuff, fun stuff. Done, I'm done pretty much at 11 or noon every day. So it's not horrible. And again, Friday's off. So that's nice. So I've just been doing that. And then this weekend got to go up to the mountains and got to go golfing for Father's Day at Eagle Vale. Yep. So that's, you see it right there, rocking my new lid.
Nice hat.
Yeah. It's that cool mesh stuff too, Mike. That really
Matt, did you get a new hat this weekend?
I should have wore it.
Okay.
Maybe I'll grab it soon. Where'd you get that hat at?
At Eagle Vale Golf Course. So it's
well, I know you were Chris, but where'd Matt get his hat?
The Shawamagan Bay Golf Course.
Chiquamagon.
Yeah. Shawama Mama. But no, Eagle Vale was amazing. It's sitting right around 8,500 feet. And I mean, it's just up and down and I mean, it's right in the mountain. It's pretty sweet. So it was a blast to do that. And what I'm looking forward to most, Thursday afternoon, flying back to the Burg. So me and little Cash Money are coming back. Me and Cash Money are coming back Thursday, and we're staying till July 2nd. Obviously to see family and stuff. But the big reason, big two reasons, I guess. But the biggest reason is my oldest niece / nephews is Nissa May, and she graduated high school. So we're coming back for her graduation party, and that's on Sunday. Saturday is the big wrestling event. So going to that Saturday, then graduation party Sunday, and then just hanging out, family time the rest. So.
Very nice. La Crosse, Wisconsin. What's up, Matt?
Not a whole lot here in La Crosse. Obviously, like everyone here, probably got hit with some heat today. I don't know, Rosh, if that came through the other days or not, but hot. It's hot. I mean, do you want me to explain the whole weekend? Sure, I save some for Mike.
You can save a little for Mike. I know you did some lawn mowing today, which was nice to hear.
Yeah,
just a phenomenal day to do that too. Like, I don't know what you were thinking there.
Well, so here's the thing: is so Mondays I have off, and I've been mowing it on Tuesdays, which are usually my hardest day at work. And so I was like, man, I just got to get back on the weekly Mondays. So today I got back on the Monday kick, So now I'll be back on every Monday. But yeah, we Thursday, me and my wife Sarah went up to Ashland to visit Mike, Annette, and the kids. Thursday we just kind of hung out. Friday we ended up going to Madeline Island. Sarah has never been there. I've
It's
been
awesome.
there
Loved it.
twice, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's twice. But yeah, great time. Just kind of went to the beach, ate at a restaurant. We went to is it Tom's?
Tom's Burn Down
Tom's
Cafe.
Burn Down Cafe, which is, I don't know
That
if you
was
guys
sweet
saw my
looking.
snap, man.
That was sweet looking.
So it's just this burn down bar. It's just like a tent. There was cars underneath.
I
the
wouldn't even really
floor.
call it a tent either.
It was like it was crazy.
So
It
if
was-
you're up in the Washburn, Ashland area, go to Madeline Island, go to Tom's Garage. Huh?
It is hilarious. And then I'll save the rest of the weekend for Mike if he wants. But
Yeah.
the most time, I guess, this week, Sarah's birthday is actually tomorrow, so I kind of got to figure out something to do with that. So
Sarah, hopefully you're not listening.
Yeah,
you should hear that.
All right.
Come.
Well, Mike, you're feeling a little under the weather today, but how you doing otherwise, man?
I'm doing pretty good. We also, and on Saturday, we also played Matt and I, and then two brothers. One of them runs the Edward Jones in town, played in a golf tournament that supports our local. It's called the Ordockers, the Ashland Ordockers. So it's the Ordocker Foundation. We ended up taking second place. We shot a 62.
Very nice.
So, and then,
Now, is that like when we golf? Is that type of scorekeeping, or was it actually?
I'm not gonna lie.
Matt,
We were legit, like to the point where we had this other guy had this putt that was literally teetering in the hole, like it was just hanging there, and we didn't count it. And at one point I wanted to be like, "Are we not counting that? Really?"
Really?
But, hey, I guess
Wow.
we're
Okay.
All
that was
right.
that was a
Okay.
true score.
Fair
we
enough.
played straight up. Then yesterday, Father's Day, got to spend some time with the kids. Went to a park, and then three of our employees at the golf course also must be going through this stomach bug that I got going on right now. But I had to wash carts in like 95-degree weather last night, which was not fun. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's birthday's the 26th, so a couple days here. We'll probably just do something low key. So baby number 3 will be arriving.
Baby's on the way.
We're in countdown mode now.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Well, it's exciting times, man. Hope you feel better.
You're going straight zone coverage then. You can't be
Yes,
running man anymore.
Yeah.
You got to be all zone.
For me, it was really nice to see all of your guys' golf snaps, your bar snaps, and I was laid up in bed for the past 3-4 days with knee procedure. I had a scope, and so they cut kind of a band on my meniscus. So went back to work today and was driving on it, and it just hurt to drive. But yeah, I mean, that's just been a lingering injury for a couple of years. Pirates. Actually, I think it was in a practice I heard it, but yeah, I guess that kind of what happens when you get a little older here. But let's do our little ticket announcement. Rosh, you ready for that?
Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, this coming Saturday, big wrestling event going down, Baraboo High School. Burg boy Eric Roshold's going to be wrestling in it, a bunch of other ones. It's going to be
The local dude.
It's going to be pretty sweet, and it's going to a good cause. So all the money raised is going to a good cause, which is also beneficial. So it's some good fun entertainment and something very unique that isn't usually occurring, for around the area. So that's pretty sweet. So we did a little contest last week just to throw down a GIF of your favorite wrestler. We put all the names in a hat and pulled out Max Brandt. So Max Brandt, congratulations. You got 2 free tickets. Just we'll be in contact with you. We'll reach out via Facebook and let you know how to collect those. But you got 2 tickets to use however you so choose. So
Are we
congratulations.
gonna have a booth there?
No, we don't have a booth, but our name's going to be on the sponsorship banners, and we have 10 front row tickets, front row, front and center. So we're gonna get the whole taste of things. We're gonna get wrestling sweat all over us and probably spit, and
I better see some snaps of that.
Oh,
I might get stunned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might get
Little
Stone Cold
art.
stunned. Who knows? Stay tuned.
Who knows? Never know.
Yeah. All right. Let's bring Corrine out.
There she is.
Hey,
Hey,
Corrine.
gentlemen.
Hey.
Hey,
Hey. So, not too long ago, we had Dylan Brown on, and the title of that podcast, I believe, Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, was Goat Talk.
Mhm.
And Corrine, do you know what that means? Do you know what?
I had to learn that from my children earlier this year when one of them called me that online.
Okay.
So that it's the greatest of all times.
Well, then you know where I'm going with it. So
Really, Dylan said this?
yeah, well, we were talking. Yeah, Dylan. You know,
did.
just yeah, yep. And
That's
so
pretty cool.
here we are talking with a goat, and it's a pleasure to have you on here, Corrine.
Thank
it's
you.
really exciting. We've definitely tried to. I mean, I know you've listened to some episodes. We try to keep Reedsburg population more involved, and as once a month we get on here. But so how are you, Corrine? Where are you at nowadays? How are you?
Okay. Well, I'm good, and I've been to that place on Madeline Island
Okay.
where you guys were.
There
it
you
is
guys
a great
go.
time.
Yeah.
Yes.
A couple of years ago, Don and I went up and stayed in Bayfield and went to concert at the Big Top Chautauqua, and
yeah.
took our bikes and went across the ferry on our bikes and rode all over the island and had lunch at that place.
Mhm.
It was pretty cool. Pretty old hiking and stuff. We've been up there. We had been up there once before to a concert with Rich King, which was quite an experience. But
The guy's a talker.
yeah, guy's a talker. When he calls, yeah, you got to have an hour. So
Yep.
anyway, and I don't know, they live in Sheboygan now. Rich and Susie do.
Was
where's
Zach? Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so I'm retired. Been retired for a whole year now, which is pretty amazing. I did absolutely zero subbing, and I don't know if anybody can talk me into it again or not for the next fall.
Well, there goes one of my questions.
Yeah. Well, I kept telling, I'd go to school and have lunch with like Sedate Larry and Andy and everybody, but I wasn't going to stay there and deal. I don't know. Chris, you'll agree with me. The world of school is not what it was 2 years ago or 3 years ago.
Well, it's got to be.
And the world of cell phones in school, you guys couldn't even touch from the cell phones you had in the school.
Yeah.
It's your little flip phones, and if you even had one, it is just such a difference. So, what have I been doing in retirement is a lot of things. I don't know. You want to start with these questions, or you want to work backwards, or what do you want to do?
You talk as much as you want. I like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, it's been a while since you're in class, so let me just introduce myself. So my name is Corrine Fish, and I taught chemistry at Reedsburg High School for 24 years. And I'm not from Reedsburg. My husband is one of the Fishes, and there's lots of them. And I was born in Elkhorn, Wisconsin, and went to high school in Lake Geneva. We lived in a tiny little town, Genoa City, right on the state line. And my family, I have 6 sisters and 4 brothers. And that was 2 families put together when I was in like I think, third grade, and I was the oldest of my mom's 4, and he had 7. So the Brady Bunch had nothing on us. So I went to school at UW Platteville. I wanted to go to Madison, and I wasn't going to be 18 yet, and my mother said no, and they said no. So I went to Platteville saying I would only stay a year, and I stayed for 4.5. And
Okay.
I got a American Chemical Society chemistry degree. And I was going to go to grad school and was thinking about chemical engineering grad school. They got a lot of different things. And by the time, oh God, I was done, I was so tired of being a poor student. I got a job at Johnson Controls in downtown Milwaukee. And they make Sears Die-Hard batteries. They had a huge battery division. And I worked in the division. Actually, they made circuit boards in the U.S. at that point in time. Now I'm pretty sure they make them in Mexico. But so I was a quality control chemist for the electroplating baths, like great big tanks of chemicals to test, right concentration, right temperature, right whatever.
Yeah.
And we made circuit boards. So we did gold plating, we did silver plating, we nickel, tin, all kinds of metals. And I worked there for 2.5 years. And then Don and I got married. We were friends the whole time we were at school, and dated other people. And I know you guys will find this funny, but we all wrote letters back and forth then because the internet didn't exist. And and anyway, he came. I lived in Milwaukee, and he lived in Rock Island, Illinois. He was working for Pella Windows, and he came to visit, and with one of the other guys who he lived with at school. So it was the summertime. And we went to Alpine Valley to a Grateful Dead concert, the real Grateful Dead, all the guys. And so this is like 1980 or something like that. And that weekend changed our whole relationship. And so we dated for a year. We were engaged for a year. We got married, and actually we moved to La Crosse.
Okay.
And yeah, we lived in La Crosse when we were first married, and I didn't have a job. I had to quit Johnson Controls. It was 1984, and nobody was hiring me. So I went to work at some store in the mall, some fashion store in the mall, Dayton's, I think it was, for a little while. And then I decided, well, maybe I could be a substitute teacher. Well, in 1984, you had to have a teaching license and a real teaching degree in order to be a substitute teacher.
A little different now.
A little different now. So I went back to school, and I got my master's degree and my certification to teach in two years there.
Was that at Platteville too, Corrine?
No, that was at La Crosse.
La Crosse, okay.
Crosse, where we were living. So it's a lot different to go to school as I was 25 or 26, but I finished what was called a broad field science major. So I took freshman science classes like maps and landforms and weather and climate and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'd watch all the hungover students come in, and I'd be like, "Oh God, you guys, you'll outgrow this at some point." Made some good friends there. I worked also at the National Fisheries Research Lab on French Island does all the Mississippi Flyway stuff. For part of the time I was there too, while I was taking classes, and worked with a lot of biology grad students there. But we did stuff like collect crayfish out of the Black River and figure out what sex they were. And I mean, we were just the grunt people. I did HPLC on rotenone on carp. We went out into the middle of the Mississippi and Lake Onalaska and dropped like a great big metal 1 meter square thing down into the bottom of the water. And then we had to pull out every piece of grass or whatever was in there and put it in plastic bags to bring back for somebody's study. I know it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
Sounds like it.
So one of the questions it says here is, when did you know you wanted to be a teacher? Well, at Platteville, I told people, hell no, I was never going to be a public. And but when I was in my first, I don't know, clinical or whatever you want to call them up there, I was like, yeah, this is pretty much what I want to do. So I student taught in chemistry at Logan up there before I graduated. And the guy at Logan then was Joe Tinas, and he almost never took student teachers. It was like I had to beg him. He was the golf coach there. Mike, he had walls in his basement with these huge collection of golf balls from all the places that he had played.
That's really cool.
It was like he had like styrofoam, and then it was cut in it, and so he placed the balls all across. That was pretty cool.
That's really cool.
He was a legend. And so in December of '86, I graduated, and I had interviewed on campus for a practice with with Milwaukee Public Schools. And the day of graduation, I got a contract in the mail to start in January with the Milwaukee Public Schools. And we were like, oh my God, we can't leave with only one of us having a job. And between Christmas and New Year's, the people Don had worked for in Rock Island, the Pella window people, called him and said, we're looking for somebody to head our Racine, Kenosha, Walworth County area office. Would you like to do it? So we had 2 job offers and we left. Not that we wanted to, we loved lacrosse. And so we went and we lived in Milwaukee, because as a teacher then at the Milwaukee Public Schools, you had to live in Milwaukee. And my job was as an excess science teacher. So I had a contract, but it was like I was a permanent sub, and I taught science someplace at middle school and high school every day. Sometimes it'd be 3 weeks someplace because somebody had surgery or whatever, but it was bath by fire. I had a boy light a girl's hair on fire in class, and we weren't even doing lab. He was just playing with a lighter. And this is the 80s, okay? So this is the big hair era. And I was like, oh my God. You asked, one of the questions Jeremy sent me was, what about a worse student? So
let's hear this.
That's got to be up.
Here's one. So I was at a middle school in Milwaukee, and a boy who was much older than middle school age, but still in middle school, told me, I'm sure I've told you boys this story at some point in time, but maybe not. I told him to sit down and be quiet. And he said, chill out, lady. You'll feel better with my dick down your throat. And I was like, oh, see how indelible that is imprinted in my head. It was horrible. It was horrible.
Oh my goodness.
But the nice thing about working in the Milwaukee Public Schools, there was a cop in the hall. You could have, I need this kid removed from my room. And, they came and they got him. So I don't know. So I did that in Milwaukee for 1 semester.
Got your taste of that, huh?
Yeah, that's probably enough.
Probably if I had stayed, I would have had my own classroom, but I got hired by Kenosha Public Schools, and we moved to Racine, and I worked in Kenosha, and I taught physics and physical science at Bradford High School for a year, and then I taught earth science for five years in Kenosha. And then and that's where Caitlin and Jocelyn were born. For those of you who don't remember, I have 4 daughters that were in school with most of you. Caitlin is going to be 33 in August, and she's a immigration lawyer in Laredo, Texas. She's been there for 6 years.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, she's very busy. She's house hunting. Okay, so some of you have houses. The houses she's looking at only cost like $170,000 or something like that.
Really?
I know, it's pretty wild.
There's just not a lot of people looking for houses down there?
Well, there are. They're going just as fast as they are here.
They
it's
are?
just that what size she's looking for, and it's a whole different world. Jocelyn is 31, and she's the marketing and development director for the Racine Theater Guild. She lives in Racine. about a block from the lake and the zoo. It's a pretty great job for her. Perfect. They own their own theater, and they put together 7 or 8 shows a year with just volunteers, and that's a big time deal.
And you get to go to a couple of them, right?
We went to a couple. We went when they did Lombardi. That was pretty cool. If
Okay.
you've never seen that play, that's really neat. And we went this last Christmas to see A Christmas Story that they did with the Red Ryder BB gun. She got to, I don't know if you guys know this, she got to go to a town hall with Joe Biden at the Pabst Theater in Milwaukee this last
Okay.
year, and asked him the infamous question about what was he going to do about school.
Oh, I heard that.
School
Yeah.
Oh
loans.
yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah. So that's gotten her a lot of attention. And then the twins, Haley and Bridget, are 27. And Bridget is a residence hall director at Tulane University in New Orleans. She went to grad school for that at Mississippi State. So we've had some places to travel with our kids.
Yeah.
She's looking for some different jobs, and she just sent me a message today that she has a first interview with Michigan this next week for something.
Okay.
And Haley teaches in Minneapolis. And she spent a year teaching 8th grade science at a charter school where most of the students were Somalian or East African. That was an eye-opening experience.
Yeah.
She taught 6th, 7th, and 8th grade science at a charter school in the area of Minneapolis where the George Floyd stuff took place,
Oh boy.
and lived in Uptown there, where there's a lot of Reedsburg kids in the cities. But this last year, she got a job at the Academy of Holy Angels, which is like
Oh, that's a nice
Edgewood
school.
on steroids.
That's a really nice school.
And she taught high school chemistry there this last year, and will
Holy smokes.
continue. So
She's probably got a home there for a while. Then maybe.
yeah,
Yeah.
she does. She'll have a home there if she wants to, and she has a boyfriend, and he's bought a house there, and yeah, they're pretty. Yeah. So
Well, very nice.
that's where they all are. So that's what I got to say about that.
That's I mean, it certainly it's got you going all over the place.
Yeah.
Yes, it does have us going on. Somebody asked me, what have I been doing this last year? Well, we did a little travel. One of my dreams was always to be, when I retired, was to be on vacation, like when school started. And we did. We went to Massachusetts last fall, about the first or second week in September. And we did the South Shore down to Cape Cod. And then we did Martha's Vineyard. And we have college friends that live out there. And it was very lovely. We biked all over.
You a big seafood person, Corrine?
Yes.
How was that out
Yes.
there?
It was wonderful. We ate it at every meal we could. We did,
my
we did
goodness.
lobster rolls. We did shrimp. We did the first night we were out there. We went to an Irish bar. Don and I have been to Ireland twice. It's a pretty wonderful place. And even had seafood there. It was great. Well, here we go. So Jeff, our friend who's from Platteville, who lives out there, there was a celebration of life for his wife, who was the maid of honor in our wedding. That was one of the reasons we went out there. He bought 300 oysters for the weekend. And so we had raw oysters, we had grilled oysters, we had and they, like at the party for Anne, they were just shucking them left and right. And seafood was the deal. And again, the seafood was the deal. Okay, so we went there in September. I went to Arizona for Christine's birthday in February with Annette and Christine. In Easter time, I met all the girls in New Orleans at Bridget's. So that was
very
That
nice.
was cool.
we
Very
did.
nice.
Crawfish boils is the big thing at this time at the Easter, April, May time, and down there. And so we have family friends down there, and we had the crawfish boil at their house. And again, that was like, I think he boiled 4 big tubs of it, and they do it where they just pour it down the middle of the table with
just eat what you want.
corn and the potatoes, and everything is all just there together. But yeah, and catfish and grits for breakfast, and I don't know.
Yeah,
That's
no,
great.
that sounds fantastic.
Was
Yeah.
was Mr. and Mrs. Claus busy again this year?
Yes, Mr. and Mrs. Claus were busy again this year. We were at we weren't in the windows, yes, we were downtown for living windows, but we weren't in anybody's window. We were at the fire station. So kids came and sat on Don's lap or both of our laps, depending on how many they had for the family. And it was a terrible, terrible weather. It was like we rode up and down Main Street in the fire department's UTV and like, oh, come see us, and kids came in and it was like raining snow and everybody was just like soaked. But yeah, we were busy and he did a shopping with the cops thing and a couple more. He'll probably be busier this year because he's pretty much, I think, done work by the end of this summer too. So
okay.
Well, yeah.
Which means even more travel.
Yeah.
Is that the plan for you this year then, Corrine? Is when school starts, make sure you're out somewhere. You're not thinking about anything.
Well, I don't know how far we'll get then, but one of the things we did last summer was we bought a vintage camper. We have a 1952. So it's 70 years old, a 1952 canned ham, as they call them. So it's not an Airstream. It literally looks like a metal canned ham. And it's a Southland Runabout. It was made in California after the war by airplane manufacturers. And we bought it from my niece, and she bought it from a guy in Illinois. It's probably only had about 5 owners before us. We have the original paperwork, the guy's original titles that they got. It's pretty much unchanged. It's got an ice box instead of a refrigerator, but it does have a stove. It's all birch paneling inside. I've made curtains and bedding and all that kind of stuff. It's doesn't have any paint on it right now.
Awesome.
It's just like the brushed aluminum. So we can't decide whether we want to make it shiny or whether we do want to paint it or whether we just want to let it. We just bought a new awning for it. So we've joined a cult because people collect all these things, for the year. To match the decor of their camper. Oh, we started immediately. We went to a vintage camping weekend at Duck Creek over by Partyville in October. Okay. And we learned, we got to do this. We got to do this. We got to do this. So then we went to a wedding in Anoka, Minnesota for the family in October. All the girls were home and everything. And we did a big shopping day with antique malls. And I got canisters and so I start collecting. So we went in first weekend in June. We went to Bear Lake Campground up between Manawa and Wapaka. And I think that there were probably 45 other vintage campers of all kinds. One of the things we saw at this one, way more than the first one, was now people got these vintage cars that go along to pull their vintage campers.
Yeah. So that's what's next, huh?
Yes. We have a 47 Studebaker pickup truck, Don does, but it's got a 6-volt system, if I get this all right in my head, and you need a 12-volt system to run all the stuff with the camper. So we'll be looking for something different.
Well, I don't know much about like the camping lifestyle, but I do know that there's a great way to just meet people and be out and about.
It was fabulous. We had Jody and Mike, our friends, college friends that live in Kimberly. They hooked us into this group. And they have a 1974-ish camper. So they've got lights strung across the top that are Cheech and Chong heads. It's kind of cool. And a little shag carpeting and other things in theirs. But the car that they pull it with is a 1964 Nova wagon. And it's all white and it doesn't have any cup holders, but it's got ashtrays everywhere inside. You guys don't remember that. The cars used to have ashtrays everywhere because people smoked everywhere.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I guess one of the last things I was wondering, you actually nailed the list quite well by yourself there.
Oh, I got two more stories.
Okay, yep, go ahead.
Okay, so there was a year when Mrs. Sukla was still the principal that some young men, boys, it was my first hour class, and they were horrible, just horrible all the time, yanking on each other, yanking on me, everyone. I turned around from the board one day, and I was just so mad, and I turned around and I said, "You guys are assholes," like to the class, called them assholes. And it was like dead silence, and we got through the end of it, and I went straight to the office. I walked into Sharon's room, the office, and shut the door. And I said, "I just called my class assholes." She said, "Were they?" I said, "Yes." And it felt really good. I said, "But just in case you get any phone calls, I called my class assholes." And then one of those boys had the guts to ask me, "Hi, guys," to ask me for a letter of recommendation.
Was it provided?
Not provided. I'm sorry. It was not provided. And somewhere along the line, I had a kid. Oh God. We did a lab where we had little squirt bottles of chemicals, that we were using. And a kid took one that had silver nitrate in it. Now, I could ask you, like, if you know the formula for silver nitrate. I could ask you all kinds of things, but I'll just let you pretend you still remember that.
Okay.
And
Good one. Yeah, that's good.
Silver nitrate is a photosensitive chemical. So they use it in photography because when you expose it to ultraviolet light, it turns brown. Do you remember that you aren't supposed to get it on your skin? We used it when you did silvering the bottles, but this was for another lab too. So this kid took one of those little bottles and indiscriminately squirted it on people in the hallway, like after you left my room, and put it on toilet seats. So like kids I don't know what he thought he was going to do with it on toilet. But anyway, we figured out who it was, and he was not in my class after that. I don't remember. Those are some of the. Well, I did light myself on fire in class too, but that was another day. So,
what was they probably don't even have this. What was the? I know your class. I was so looking forward every time. It was Was it like the school store? What is it? Was it called?
Yes, the year that I had.
Oh yeah,
Annette and all those girls every single day wanted to go to the school store. Sun chips and Diet Pepsi and whatever else everybody was eating. But yeah, the school store. It does still exist, or did. For a while, it had to sell gym uniforms because they went to having Reedsburg T-shirts and shorts that they had to wear for Fayed. But I think they're done with that again now. Yeah. But it's not like the old days. I don't know how student council makes any money.
Didn't they like push the food on a cart to your classroom?
Oh yeah.
Sometimes they came on carts to the classroom. Yeah. And they used to have a cart on the second floor, so people didn't have to always come down to the school store. Right.
I do remember one. I swear I was in middle school, I think, and like we got to come to the high school, and the high schoolers did like some labs or something, like to get us like excited about it.
You were
is that what it was? Fourth grade?
In fourth grade.
Yep.
Because starting the first year I came, Civum had already been doing demonstration shows. And so I did one that first year. And I think I only probably did one of them, invited one class because my first year was the last year at Webb. And so, but then we started doing them where every fourth grade in the district came, and we did them at night for your parents. Do you remember that?
Yep.
Your parents came and we did one at night, and that was usually during the baseball season or whatever in the spring. But Kim, that's right. We and so then Haley and Bridget graduated in 2013. That was the last year that I taught Chem 2, because then I switched and I remember it all. I switched to teaching AP chemistry instead of Chem 2 and a semester of organic where we did all the plastics and polymer stuff. And so the first year, teaching in an AP class is insanity. And so the first year I could not figure out at all how to do that demo show. But after that, I went down to Rob's office and I'm like, okay, if I can figure out how to take the show on the road after the AP test, because the Chem AP test is like the first Monday in May.
Yeah.
I said, can we do it? And he's like, sure. So that's what we started doing. We started taking the show on the road. And so we only did like 3 shows. We used to do like 13 shows. It would be like a whole month. And because they came every day. So we would go to Pineview and we would do them in the gym. And so that meant, we didn't have a hood and there were a lot of demos we couldn't do, but we did a lot of them outside. Like we did we put liquid nitrogen in a water bottle into a garbage can that had warm water in it. And then we dumped 12 dozen ping pong balls in on top of it and let that explode and the ping pong balls come out and go. You can find that one online. And that's how the kid did it. He's like, can we do this, Mrs. Fish? And I'm like, okay, we'll give it. So we took the show on the road and we did it for that last spring at Prairie Ridge. But the person who took my spot this year did not do demonstration shows. And I feel bad about that because like cool. Tia said, people remember what they did and when they did it, and
they're memorable. Absolutely.
I mean, I still remember, I'm pretty sure 2 of the ones, and I could be wrong, but just my memory, but one was like a balloon that started going up and then all of a sudden it just turned on, or like went up in flames. And then another one was with dry ice. We got to break something. I can't remember what it was exactly, but I just remember all of a sudden it just shatters and it just disappears. And you're like, whoa. As a first grader, that was pretty cool.
The one that most kids will remember too is eating the marshmallows that were in liquid nitrogen and making the smoke come out of their nose.
I do remember that one too.
Yeah, we filled those balloons you're talking about, Chris, with hydrogen gas, and then we lit them on fire. It's actually pretty amazing that I only ever lit myself on fire and not
jeez.
I was certainly never in any of those classes with you. But the last little question here I think we have for you, Corrine, is kind of Reedsburg related.
Okay.
And I know you're very Reedsburg oriented. And I guess what do you love about this city, and what's kept you here?
Well, family is what brought us. Don's brother Joe worked at Hank's Craft, and they needed somebody to run the design lab. And we had wanted our kids to grow up the same kind of place. We were living in Racine. I was teaching in Kenosha, and Caitlin was getting ready to start kindergarten. And Joe said, Dave Buss is retiring. Do you want to come and run the design lab? And so we took it and moved here in the beginning of 1994. Okay. And so Caitlin started kindergarten here that next fall. And the twins were born that next fall. And so family was what brought us here. I taught, I don't know if you guys remember this, I taught for 2 years in Baraboo before I got the job here in Reedsburg.
I didn't know that, no.
Yeah, I taught 9th grade science over there. So Sarah Kettleson, she was a social studies teacher here for a while. I had her as a student in Baraboo. Anyway, and then when you have kids and you put roots down in a place, and Mike, you and Nanette are getting there now, you're all of a sudden you make friends with all of these kids, all their parents too. Yep. And then you get asked to join or then you're a coach. I think between Don and I, we spent Don
was my soccer coach at one point, for sure.
Between the two of us, we spent 9 years on the soccer board. And I was the registrar for a while, and I I actually coached, but I never coached. I had high school girls be the coach, and I just was the parent there to. Oh, Nolan's listening. Don't repeat any naughty words, Nolan.
Such a good kid.
Yeah, he is. He is, and he's so big. Isn't he 10 now?
Yeah.
He's got all that long hair. Anyway.
Anyway, and I was a Girl Scout leader, and I was a 4-H Jolly Beavers leader. The girls were all in 4-H and in Scouts, and I raised money for I can't tell you how many different things. Our family, Don's sister Fran was instrumental in the Relay for Life when it started in Reedsburg, when it was held at Webb Park, and we built the gazebo that's in Webb Park for her, and it has that sign there for that. I spent time on the Sacred Heart Athletic Board.
Hey, didn't you teach tennis this past?
Oh, I coached tennis.
Coach tennis?
Yes.
Yeah. I thought I saw that.
Coached boys tennis that last spring that I was teaching, and I was going to told Andy I'd do it again, but I think did they get Travis to do it?
I
think they got one of the new
Tanner.
Yeah, one of the new men at school.
Basketball coach, yeah.
That Tanner did it.
Yep.
So I did coach. Well, mostly I was like the team mom, I think. Yeah, because I went to one of the boys' graduation parties a couple weeks ago, and he says, "I just really miss those pep talks in between." And I was like, "Well, okay, good. It was fun. Yeah. And I waited until then. Yeah. Well, our girls were all real involved in music, and so I raised money and went on a trip to Washington D.C. Those bus trips where they went and then Caitlin's went to Washington D.C. Jocelyn's went to Boston, and Haley and Bridget's went to Disney. They did That's Disney thing. So, yeah. I go to lunch with retired teacher ladies every so often, like Mrs. Winters and Mrs. Petty and Mrs. Lehman and Mrs. Green. Like, if you guys went to school now, you would know maybe 8 teachers.
Yeah.
It's really very different. But it's
culture now.
It's so funny. You tell people that you're from Reedsburg, and a lot of them will wear, and you say, "Okay, buy the Dells." You know that. That's the standard story. But we have a lot of things to be very proud of here in Reedsburg. Did you guys know that they had Brett Yankee
Bryant?
There we go. Bryant Yankee and the young lady who won state gymnastics this year, each were on a car in the Butterfest parade with the big signs on them this year.
That's really cool.
That was really cool that they did that. That they did that for them. There were no Miss Reedsburgs. There was not a Miss Reedsburg pageant this year, but
there wasn't.
No, and I don't know. I'm not sure the whole story behind why that didn't happen.
Yeah,
but might be because Phyllis isn't doing it anymore, and the whole school deal.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. It's been fun, and I know I gave you a little crap one day, Jeremy, about not knowing all the right statistics when you were talking high school sports.
I'm guilty of it. There's nothing that I can say because I'm guilty of it. I came in here and just like, we'll try to hit the curveball or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But no,
Reedsburg has a lot to be proud of.
Yeah.
And,
I agree.
And it's always good to be able to say you're from here. So we've lived here now for 28 years and in this same house for 28 years. And we're moving my mother into assisted living. And all I keep thinking is, oh my God, I've got to get rid of half the stuff that's in this house.
Well, Corrine, I think I speak for everyone when we say we're proud to have had you as a teacher as well.
Oh, yeah.
That's part of it.
Thank you.
That's part of it.
Yes.
It's always fun to walk around or to be in town or be places and people remember. We were at the country club this Friday, the Friday before, and I got hugged 3 times by people there. And Jim Krieger says to Don, "How come they don't hug you?" And they always
Don get a little jealous or what?
Yeah.
I don't know. He just smiles and puts up with it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, thank you very much for joining us,
Oh,
Corrine.
it's been good. It's been
Yes.
good. So it's
you.
a good thing. I enjoy listening to the shows. It's a pretty fun thing. I listen to this podcast and then I listen to one, what is it called? Backstage Biddies or something. And it's Reedsburg people too, trashing music. And it's pretty fun stuff.
Very
It's
nice.
Some friends of Haley and Bridget. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's good.
All right. Well,
And it's so good that you men are all doing well. And,
yeah. We like doing it with each other, and that's part of it as well. So
yeah. Chris, do
All
you
right.
think you'll ever come back and stay?
I hope.
You hope?
That's the long-term plan. So we'll see.
So
We'll
this
see what happens.
graduation party you're going to, who's which?
That's Eric's. So
Eric's.
Yep.
Is that his oldest or his
Yep.
youngest?
His oldest.
oldest.
Yep. So he's got the oldest, Nissa,
Yep.
and then Gretchen's oldest is going to
He's
be
in high school, isn't he?
Yep. He'll be a senior next year. And then Eric's got the next one who will be a junior. Then Gretchen, they alternate. So it goes Eric Gretchen, Eric Gretchen, Eric Gretchen. But the youngest one is going to be
Cashin.
Well, yeah, Cash. But the youngest of those two is Addie, and I think
And she just had a birthday.
Yep, she's I think it's 6th grade. I
Yeah.
think she's going into 6th because I think there's going to be 3 at the middle school next year. I think there's going to be a 6th, 7th, and 8th grader, or is Cooper going to be a freshman? I can't remember. Time flies too fast. But
Does your mom come out? Does your mom come out much to visit?
Yeah, yep. She comes out and visits, and then obviously, I go back. I mean, I'm back probably 4 or 5 times a year for holidays, summers, breaks. Burg Boys get together a couple times, so it's a good combination of me going back and her coming out. And Gretchen and Casey lived out here for a long time too, so they've been out a couple times, so they can see old friends from out here too. So that's good too to see them, because that's one of the things that obviously I miss most about back home are the people, family and friends. And so and it's a way different lifestyle. It's more my tune than it is out here. Out here it's a little chaotic 24/7, but but we're adapting. It's different, and it's been a lot of good experiences at the same time. So
So Jeremy, your mom is one of the first people that I met when we moved here, because we lived next door to Lori and Bill. And
okay.
And then when I got my job in Baraboo, Lori had my girls and your brother and Jody, and because Jody and Callie and Jocelyn and Megan Bry, those 4 little blonde kids running around like nothing.
Yeah,
and
she'd watch us all.
And I know that maybe Matt and Mike don't want to admit this, but your Uncle Dean.
Here we go.
He wins everything, any contest that we have here. He wins everything.
All right, I'll tell you this one. So, Dean and Don and Doug Grimm and Gary Reimer ran the 4 of them big time in high school. And we're all in each other's weddings, etc. And Dean hosted Don's bachelor party at their house at the farm. And my dad came, and my brother and my brothers and my younger brother John puked on the register at Tina Diane's. John's dad was out there. They're all playing cards. It's the story on the anyway.
Jeez.
So we had our fingers in lots of people's.
Can I ask Dino about that one?
Yep.
Oh, he'll throw it out there. So anyway, well,
all right. Well,
Thanks,
thank you,
guys.
Corrine. Thank you very
Yep.
much.
Thank
Yep,
Yeah,
nice
thank you.
We'll
talking.
talk to you soon. All right.
Yeah, see, and we used to do this on Google too. Classroom. Bye, see ya.
All right.
All right, that was awesome.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I didn't even have to do the interview. like,
That's
she was-
that's the best
it was
part.
great.
What was
Yeah.
cool, because I'm pretty sure every because we try to tie in, who your favorite teacher is with, and I don't want to say she's been brought up every time.
Yep.
Out of all
Yeah.
of our
Just
guests
about.
that-
Yeah.
Yeah,
just
pretty
about.
much. And the thing is like, we could have gone for another hour. Like,
Probably could've.
but yeah. But real quick here, I'll touch on a couple things. Milwaukee Brewers. They are 5-5 in their last 10. Prior to that 10-game stretch, they were on an 8-game losing streak. However, they are still in first, 38-30. Here's something cool, guys, and I don't know that we really talked about this. It's been a kind of a quiet weekend in the chat, but Lorenzo Cain was DFA'd the day he got his 10th year of service. And what that kind of means in baseball world is he is grandfathered into getting like whatever it is, 15,
10 years, right, Jeremy? Or
10
is it-
years.
Yeah.
I
It
think he
helps with
gets
his
like
retirement and
Yeah.
stuff.
he gets like
big time.
15,000 a month towards health and stuff like that. And it was really cool because he's batting like 150.
Oh man,
Yeah.
yeah.
He's just atrocious. And he could have been cut. He could have been DFA'd a month ago, but they knew this was coming up, and they owed it to this vet who's a fan favorite.
Yep.
Who is a great guy, who's a good ball player, may get picked up by somebody else. I don't know. This might be the end of the line for him. But I thought that was pretty cool of the Brewers to do. And I'm going to jump quickly.
because not a lot of,
No.
I don't think a lot of organizations in any sport probably would have done something like this.
It's because it's a business to all
it
them,
is.
and it seems like, and obviously we're biased because we love Wisconsin, but it seems like for the most part the Wisconsin pro teams are trying to like care about the people as well as trying to win at the same time.
Yeah.
And
And
so
I think
that's cool to see.
the only thing that I can remember to go in the complete opposite way is I don't know if you guys remember when Chris Bryant was coming up, the Cubs purposely didn't bring him up because they would have had to pay him an extra so many $1,000.
Yeah.
So it just kind of shows that,
So
we're the opposite.
Well, right, and baseball's very weird in terms of rules of service time, is what they call it.
Yeah.
And so my next question here, and then I think we can be done if you guys want, is we're going to go to the Packers real quick, and they released Kurt Benkert. And Kurt Benkert, for those of you who don't know, is kind of a third-string quarterback. And it really seemed like the quarterback room this past year really bonded, really kind of had each other's backs at times, over some Twitter things, over personalities saying this, saying that, and backing each other up. And Kurt was a part of that. And I don't know what kind of player he is. I don't even know his college stats. I couldn't tell you where he went to college. I do follow him on Twitter. Really good guy, really good family, has a young one. But I guess my question is, and I don't even know if it's a question, but something to talk about is, how hard is it to let go of these people that don't have a significant impact into winning, but are really good people and that you really wanted to cheer for, that you really like? You guys kind of know where I'm going with that.
Yeah.
And I think Kurt's a good example of that. I think Lorenzo's a pretty good example of that. I still really like that. I got a jersey of the guy.
I think it's got to be a GM / coaches. That's got to be the worst part of the job. It's because you're pretty much taking this family and
a fan base
and pretty much saying, all right, get out. You know what I'm saying? But like, I guess I just don't know how you attack that. Yeah, that's got to be very, very tough.
My only thing that I try to tell myself to make it better, because I'm with you, Jay Green. I love that guy. I follow him too. He had Rodgers back, and he always supported the other Packer players. Like MVS was getting a lot of heat this last offseason because he was talking about the Chiefs and all this stuff. And
Yeah.
people were bashing him, and he stepped in and said, "Hey guys, like, knock it off," type of thing. He's just a good dude. The only thing that I kind of just go through my head with is I try to tell myself that the GM and the coaches sit down with these players before these decisions happen and work out a plan. Like, hey, Kurt, we're going to do this, but we've already been in contact with Tampa Bay, Miami, and so, and they're interested in signing you. So, we really wanted to keep you, but obviously, we have two good quarterbacks. But hey, we've lined up these three guys. Here's their contact information. Give them a call. I'm hoping that's what happens. I'm not saying that's what does happen, but that's kind of what I tell myself is maybe, like with Lorenzo, maybe they said, hey, dude, it's coming. And maybe Lorenzo's the one that said, hey, 10 years is coming up.
I think he did.
Like things like that kind of make it feel better, I guess. But I'm with Matt, like the hardest part of the job, no doubt. Like, no doubt.
Anything you want to say to that, Mike? Sorry, Matt.
No, go ahead, Matt.
No, I was just going to say that I think I did see a quote from Kane that said pretty much just like, I have no regrets. Like this organization gave me, a ton. And obviously, I guess I didn't realize that part. About the whole how he would get so much money now afterwards. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. But I also want to say shout out Craig Counsell, who is now the all-time winningest Brewers coach.
Oh, yeah.
Forgot who he beat out, but I think Ned Yost maybe was up
Probably
there.
Ned Yost, yeah.
So who knows?
It sounds like a baseball coach name.
Who was your guys' favorite Brewer growing up?
John Jaha.
Mine was Jeremy Burnett's.
Junior Spivey.
Richie Sexton.
Ben Sheets was a good one too for a while.
Ricky.
Did someone say Jeff Jenkins?
Oh, Jeff.
He was
Jenkins
a fan favorite.
Yeah.
Mike
Isn't
Cameron.
Looked like Brett Favre.
Yeah, Jeff Jenkins looked like Brett Favre and played
exactly.
right field. I do remember that.
Yeah.
Carlos Lee was a big favorite too. El Caballo.
Yep.
It was only for a couple years.
Mars's buddy.
Yep.
So, but all right, boys. I mean, I know we're kind of running a little late here, but I know that we could. There's a number of things that we're gonna talk about next time that I'm gonna hang on to. Is there anything you guys wanted to touch on with golf? That's the last thing I wanted to. Is there anything you guys wanted to talk about? With that?
We're gonna need a whole new episode if Mike gets going.
Congratulations to Matthew Fitzpatrick, who was the U.S. Open. Did you guys get a chance to watch any of it?
The only thing I saw was
I saw the playoff or the guy that missed the
yeah, and I saw the quote from what is it, Zalatoris?
What a good guy, huh?
Yeah, I saw that quote, and he went up to the dude's parents and said, like, if I was going to lose to anybody, I'm glad I could lose to somebody like yourself.
What a class act there.
Yeah, like that's pretty sweet.
He missed that putt to force a playoff.
Yeah. He
lost in the playoff to Justin Thomas in the PGA Championship. He took like second or third in the Masters a couple years ago. So like he's a fun guy. Obviously, the big news in golf is Live Golf, which is the new league that no huge names today left. I think the only one today was Abraham Answer. But you have Phil Mickelson, DeChambeau, Patrick Reed's already announced. There's Dustin Johnson, who's obviously kind of the face of it, I would say. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. For people that maybe don't know what this Live Golf is, it's a 3-day tournament, shotgun start all 3 days, no cuts, huge payouts. I'm still kind of confused as to like who it's like run by. I know Saudi Arabia is backing the money for this. Yeah. Greg Norman is like the president of it. Where I really think in my perspective, they're exhibition tournaments. You're never going to get like what we saw on Sunday, where you have, wire to wire finish. 4 days of grinding it out on a really tough course in Boston this past weekend. So, but on the flip side of it too, like, DeChambeau was reportedly signed for like $200 million. So it's like, I can see why he would do
a lot of money.
Well, yeah.
But I think Rory McIlroy, like some of the stuff him and Justin Thomas are saying of just like the prestige of some of these tournaments, because you have, obviously like, the majors are one thing, but you have the RBC Classic, which was 2 weeks ago up in Canada. You have a bunch of these other tournaments and stuff like that go on that, obviously have a long list of history and that this live golf, you're just never, you're not going to have that right now anyways. So
there's only one reason they're doing it. That's it. That's money.
Well, and the thing too is like some of the guys that are, in it right now, like a Pat Perez. Do you guys know who that is at all? He's got the long hair. He's way past his prime, but he's like he probably signed for more money than he ever made on the.
I just don't like. Wouldn't you guys rather have them? I mean, I know every one of them that's gone over there has just like sent out this long explanation of why they gone over there. Why don't you just say like, "Hey, they're throwing me a lot of money."
DeChambeau did.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I don't know why these guys aren't just being like, "Hey, they're throwing me a lot of money, and I want to take care of my family." Like, you can't fault that.
Yeah. I think it's money, and I think it's also being a big fish in a small pond too.
Yeah.
Some of them, like Mike said, who are kind of have been in the background for their entire career, now get to go potentially be somebody, but.
And this is the biggest golf story in probably forever.
Since Tiger became Tiger.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we'll set some time aside to talk more in depth about it next time. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't see any.
Well, you're a big live guy, so
I don't see them bashing the PGA.
Jay Green's just an antagonist. That's what he is.
Did you not?
He doesn't put up Christmas lights. He doesn't mow his lawn.
Did you not see the videos that I sent you, Jeremy, of Sergio Garcia and stuff like that?
Mike, I just don't watch them. Like, how fun is it if all four of us agree on the same thing?
True.
Every time.
No,
I don't know.
Agree.
I mean,
I agree.
I'm kind of playing the fence here. I'm 50-50.
I'm pro PGA because of one reason, and that's just because the history. I just love the history of the game. Like when you watch the Masters, Live is never ever gonna have something like that, like that feeling when you watch it. Like it's just never gonna happen. And so I like that. That's the only reason I like the PGA.
And the thing too is like you've already seen some of this is only going to make the PGA Tour better, because I don't know if you guys saw, like they did like a behind the scenes stuff of like Justin Thomas getting ready, Tony Finau, Rory a couple of weeks ago when he won the RBC, like, doing some more like social media stuff. And they've already tried to change like some of the like TV stuff that they're doing. Like, I only think like this is it's going to make the PGA Tour better.
It's going to motivate them. Yeah.
It is. Yep.
Yeah.
Whatever. All right. All right, fellas. One of our longest episodes here, but it was nice being here with you as always. Corrine, thank you.
Shout out to Corrine. That was really awesome.
That was a great interview.
So, all right, guys, have a nice week. Everybody else, take care, and we'll chat soon.
Yep.
Thanks, everybody.
See you at the wrestling event on Saturday.
Yeah.
See you guys.
See ya.